Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about 5 modifications that I made on this new Honda 300L, and we're also going to talk about some performance tips that may help you with your bike. We're going to talk about that and a few more other things, so join us. And if you enjoy the content of this channel, please subscribe. We appreciate you, and give it a thumbs up. What the heck. And we're going to talk right now more about the 300L. The first modification we made was these Barkbuster style handguards. These are the handguards. They were added to the bike and they really help out a lot. As you can see, the brake lever is like a chrome finish, but over here the brake lever is like black. We dropped the bike
on the mountain. Whoa! See, it's slippery when wet.
And that's why we add these Barkbusters, because they protect the hands when you're in the jungle, you're riding in these jungle area. And these Barkbusters, they save the levers from breaking, and also they save your hands from getting messed up. The second modification that we got was getting rid of that long fender area that came out. We got rid of that long, ugly plastic fender that came down here, and we got this piece that you connect, and that's for your license plate. Since the bike is so new, they haven't issued a license number for the license plate. So I went ahead and ordered a license plate. It's this one right here. Since there was no license plate number, just went ahead and put for registration. The license plate should be coming any day now, and when I receive that in the mail, we're going to go ahead and attach it to the back of this piece, this new license plate piece. When I was ordering the piece, the mechanic, he told me that we have to have the whole piece with the lights and everything attached to it. And I said, no, I think they just sell the piece only. There's 2 bolt holes where you can screw a new bolt into. And then he said, no, I think you need to get the whole piece and redo all your electrical. And I said, I don't think so. So we found a piece that actually just goes into those 2 screw holes like I mentioned, and we just left the lights alone. So don't change the electrical. You don't need to do all the wires and put a new light, the blinkers and all that kind of stuff, the tail light, the brake light. Leave it alone. Just get the piece that mounts there, and then you don't have to worry about touching the electrical. Leave the stock electrical alone. It's always good to do that. The third modification that I made to this bike, maybe some of you will think it's not a very good modification, but for me, I thought it was a great modification. Why? Because I scratched it, I put my bag on it. It's this screen protector. I have this screen like you put on a cell phone. And I have the screen protector. That way, when I scratch the screen protector, I just throw it away. I have a backup, and it's really good. And I always scratch my screens. I'm a terrible rider when it comes to scratching the screens. So I went ahead and got the screen protector, and it's gonna save me a lot of heartache. Because when I saw my first scratch on the computer screen, I'm like, uh-oh, I'm gonna really scratch this screen to the point maybe I won't be able to read it again. That's why I got the screen protector, and I think it's a pretty cool investment, and I have a backup. So when I destroy this screen protector, it doesn't go onto the original screen. I just throw the screen protector away, and I put on a new one. The fourth modification that I added to this bike was this black rack on the back of this bike. I know some of you may not be into racks, but they're really cool because the Honda is a multi-purpose bike, and the rack, when you have a passenger rider, they can move their butt back and they can put their hands on this rack and they can feel a sense of security. And also you can tie things on this rack. You can carry stuff home, foods or whatever. Remember, the Honda 300 is a multi-purpose bike. This bike goes everywhere and it does everything. So for me, the rack is a real natural. I've had a rack on my last bike. It was XR200 Honda, And they have these bolt areas here already made, and you just have to get the rack. One of the things I had to do is they made this maybe for the 150 CRF. It was 1 inch off, so I had to have it cut, and I had to have it welded right here, and they had to put that area in the back. And see this knob right here? There was a knob right here in the back. There's 2 of them, and I had them cut off, and I didn't want that scratching the fender or breaking the taillight. So that's what happened. So it wasn't a perfect match back here, so I custom fit it yesterday, and I had it grinded so it looked good, and it fit. And the rack, now we have a rack on the back of the Honda 300. The 5th modification that I made to this Honda 300, it's not really a modification, but I went ahead and I bought a whole bunch of filters, oil filters for the bike from Honda, because you have to use the original parts. And I made that 1,000 mile oil change on the last video, and I said, well, how many do you have of these filters? And they said 3. And I said, give me all 3 of them, because it's good to have the backup of the filters. That way, when you want to do your next oil change, you have the filters in hand. The first tip I want to give you regarding the Honda is about the gasoline. When you fill your tank up, you got to go to those, there's 2 bars inside of the gas tank. Go to those 2 bars, tell everyone just to put it to those 2 bars and stop. There's a big problem going on online, is a lot of people are filling the gas tank to the top, and then it doesn't allow any air. And so what happens is that the bike cuts out, it stalls, and you want to leave air in the gas tank so that the fuel moves properly through the fuel injected. Because this is fuel injection, and you want that air to be in the gas tank. And the problem is, a lot of people, they fill that gas tank all the way to the top, and they leave no air. And that creates lots of problems. People are complaining. Do not fill the gas tank to the top. And tip number 2 is use the best gasoline, the most expensive gasoline, the super premium. Do not do the regular on this motorcycle. Make sure you always put the very most expensive, the best gas. It gets good gas mileage, so what's a couple cents, you know? Tip number 3 is you need to wear long pants when you ride this bike. I wear short pants when I ride this bike, and the engine on the right hand side is really hot. They have a radiator on this Honda 300, but it doesn't really keep the engine cool. Maybe on the 2023 models, they need to perfect that, make that engine less hot. That's it for the Honda 300L, the tips and modifications. Not all modifications everybody likes, but I thought they were cool ones. They were good ones for me. And you can modify your bike any other way. There's more modifications. There's lots of mods and lots of tips. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, talking 300L. And we appreciate you, and we appreciate you subscribing, hanging out with us today. And we're gonna look forward to seeing you. We're gonna see you next time.